Thumbs up. So let's start. Thank you for everybody who is here live, um, and everyone who's going to be listening to this or watching it via the recording. Thank you to you as well. So I'd like to start and let everybody know that you're a business owner. And a lot of you may say, well, I work 40 hours a week. I have a job. I'm not a business owner, Sharif. What are you talking about? But to be exact, everybody is a business owner because you want, in two ways, you want to make your money work for you. And then to everyone who has a regular job, who is employed, you're a business owner yourself. When you marketed your skills, you may have sent in a resume, you may have had to go to an interview, but you were marketing, you were selling your skills to that potential client who is now your employer, who will be paying you to work. Now, to start, I want to use this as an example. Everybody here should know what this is, Monopoly. Play Monopoly. You go, every time you pass go, you get $200, right? Everybody knows that. The banker, you have to ask the banker, but you get you $200. Now, imagine going around the game and you're playing just to get your $200, but you don't own anything. You don't own any assets or any houses, any hotels, so you're not bringing in additional money. Your money is not working for you. Your money should be working for you when you're sleeping. For example, through stocks, dividends, through investments. You may want to start an ATM business. You may want to start a vending machine business. Whatever that may be, it could be a side hustle, but your money should be working for you while you're sleeping because that is your business. Now, I like to tell people to be successful, you have to mind your own business. Now, you might hear that a lot as well. I'm not talking about being nosy, how most people use it, or snooping around in other people's business, but minding your business is minding your money, seeing where your money is going in and out, your finances, and how your money is earning you more money. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a realtor, and currently how I make money from real estate is when someone looks to go, they want to buy a house or they want to sell their house that they own. I negotiate for them. I show them the house. I help them write up the contracts, and I talk to different inspectors. I get them insurance. Now, every one of you, if you wanted to, you could be a realtor as well. And realtors get 3% from each house they sell. For example, if it's $100,000 house, you get 3,000. And then for people who you help buy a house, it goes the same with people who sell a house. And there's other options to make money through real estate. You can be a wholesaler, and to wholesale real estate, you don't even have to be 18. So if you're 16 and you have an adult or one of your parents that would sign off for you and get the contract in their name, you can start wholesaling today. And finally, how you can make money through real estate is it by flipping real estate or by owning investment properties. So if you get, say for example, a property that's been foreclosed on, or someone has to sell it quick, they got a new job, they got to move here, then you can get that property. When you put some work into it, you can either sell it for more or you can rent it out every month. So like in Monopoly, when those people, when they land on your property, they pay rent. They pay that to you every month. So I'm going to give a quick outline. Today we're going to have our speakers. We're going to have Josh Laurent. He's going to be speaking next. Well, no, we're going to start with AJ. We're going to have AJ speak. And AJ, you can tell everybody about credit. You got to unmute first. There we go.
Sharif, for having me here. So first and foremost, I want to introduce myself. My name is AJ De La Rosa once more. I'm a agent relationship manager at Quicken Loans. I'm also a licensed loan officer there. So my job is to oversee all of our brokers and agents in Michigan. And I communicate with our realtors also, as well as their clients as well. Their referred clients, their VIP clients that refer over to me. And sometimes I do reach out to clients personally myself when Sharif calls me. I don't care if it's like early in the morning or 12 o'clock at night. I pick up because he's my VIP agent because he does deliver, and I intend to do the same thing as well. So, and we talk about some issues with the client, because what Sharif does, he says, hey, AJ, I got a client with a really low credit score. This is the financial issues. Can you help? Can you help the client out? You know, so he does go above and beyond and reaches out to me for help. So in terms of credit, though, there's a few things I want you guys to keep in mind when it comes to credit. Okay. So number one, your credit, it's like your job interview, you know, it's like, let's say you're trying to apply for a loan, for a mortgage or a car loan, or even a furniture store. Rest in peace, Art Van, you know, but it's like a job interview, and your credit score is important. It kind of ranks you from being an A+ student to a D student or F student, you know. But the good thing about credit, though, guys, you can still work on it and repair it. And my team does that for you. As long as Sharif refers you over, we're going to take great care of you guys. So you probably heard it's all right. Credit is king. You guys heard it, right? Credit is king. All right. Yeah. Give me a thumbs up on that. That's important. 100%. So the minimum credit score to qualify to get approved for a mortgage with us is 580. And that's the very lowest you can ever go in the market. Most lenders won't even approve clients that are, unless you're in the 650 or 620s, but our company does that. So it's 580 and above. So that's like starting off as a D student. And then my company steps in there and helps you build your credit as well. And in terms of building your credit, there's a few things you have to know, right? So number one, two things to be exact. So there is your installment debts, right? Installment debts. And then there's your revolving debts. So your installment debts are your debts like the, like, let's say a car loan, right? Let's say you bought a new Mercedes or a Lexus or a new Jeep or whatever. You got to pay those, you got to pay that sucker every single month, right? If not, you get dinged on bad credit. So that's important. Installment debts, right? And then the second thing is your revolving debts. Your revolving debts are like your credit card from Chase, Capital One, whatever. Now, those two things are important because that pretty much makes up a lot of your, what's in your credit report and how to improve it or repair it as well, right? So, and how that kind of segues into how to build your credit. Okay, let's say Sharif refers Josh over. Josh needs a little bit of work on his credit, right? So what we have to do is pull the credit report and we take a look at all three credit scores. There's the first credit score is from Equifax, the second one is TransUnion, and then the third one is from Experian, right? So all three credit bureaus report three different credits. So we take a look, whatever the middle score is, whether it's a 580 all the way up to an A+ student, like a 800 credit score, 700 credit score. Those are really good, right? So if your credit score is 580 and above, then we can go ahead and possibly get you guys qualified into getting into a mortgage, right? But hey, credit score is only one piece of the puzzle, right? So there's also what's being reported there in your credit report. For example, remember that installment debt and remember that revolving debt, guys? So there's also other debts in there, maybe medical debts, you know, maybe there's other debts as well that just came up, I don't know, or bankruptcies and whatnot. So it's not just a credit score, it's also what's being reported in your credit report. And whatever it is, if there's an issue, then my team and I step in there. I personally give you maybe a financial advice. My VIP bankers does, my credit consultants, all do that for you guys at no cost whatsoever, as long as Sharif refers you. You know, so he's the man. We do a lot for him. So, but in terms of how to build your credit, I don't know exactly what your credit scores are or what's in your credit report, but every credit profile is different. So what I'm saying that because, you know, I mean, I have student loans from Michigan State, you know, Sharif has student loans from law school. So, you know, his pops or everybody, you know, everybody has different debts, but we have to take a look at it and analyze it and figure out what the best solutions are for you. But if you're your typical guy that, let's say, hey, hold on, I may be late on some payments or maybe my credit score is too low. These are like two quick things you can, well, a few quick things you can do in terms of how to build your credit. So obviously the first issue is like, I have no credit. Well, I have no credit, then maybe all you got to do is open up a line of credit. You know, first thing you can do is very simple. Open up a secure card. When I first started, my credit wasn't so hot before. This is like 10 years ago back in Michigan State. I wasn't taking care of business yet. But what I did was I opened up a secured line of credit. Let's say Capital One. I put like $150 in there, and when I opened it, I spent only 30% the maximum that you're approved for. For example, let's say you're approved for $100 you're spending. Don't go past $30, guys. At least spend $10. Buy a piece of gum and I don't know, and then pay it off before 10 days before it's due. So that way it shows that you're making payments on it. It shows history, and you can show an activity, because by getting a credit card and not spending on it and just letting it sit there ain't gonna do nothing, so it's not gonna do nothing. So you got to show activity on it. Plus, a second thing, guys, in how to build your credit, you know what? Just like with anything else, you got to give it some time. So you got to give it a little bit of time. You got to let it sit there, marinate a little bit. Show the credit bureaus, like those 3 credit bureaus I told you about with the 3 credit scores, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. Those guys, they look at your credit history like it's like a job interview, right? And also, it kind of shows your history and how responsible you are as a consumer here. So, well, those are pretty much the quick things in terms of how to build your credit. You got no credit, open a secured line of credit. Okay. Now, the second thing, make sure you don't go past 30% of the maximum amount, and pay that sucker off before 10 days before closing, guys. 10 days before it's due. I say closing. I'm so used to closing, I had like 41 closings last month. So, but yeah, so you got to pay that off. So, so overall, guys, I'm not sure how I'm doing on time right now, but when you're when you're taking care of your credit, remember, credit is king. You can't get approved for anything if you don't fix on your credit. I had a lot of clients who are, I got $300,000 in the bank. I can pay this. This house in cash, or I make great income. I'm an attorney, or I'm a doctor, but my man, you're a doctor, but your credit score is below 580. I can't help you, right now, but I can give you some really great advice. So that way, in 2 to 3 months, I'll follow up with you. Sharif will follow up with you. We'll get you back on board and getting you qualified. So that's why I say credit is so important. And this is where it really starts. And plus, for those of you guys like young entrepreneurs out there, especially my man Chase over there, I know he's going to get this 800 credit score. He's an A+ student. So you want to make sure you start early and start working on your credit here, because if you start working on your financial muscles, those muscles of your finances, you're going to get used to doing the right things, especially if you got Sharif and his pops to lead you guys with finances too as well. And me, yeah, nothing's stopping you. You just got to make really great decisions. But those great decisions first start off with making sure your credit is good. You got to flex those muscles a little bit. Start working it a little bit. Don't be afraid. If you guys need anything, I'm going to shoot my contact information there. I can help you guys out, when it comes down to it. But I know, Sharif, you got a whole amazing program here. I'm so excited to be here. So we're going to leave questions at the end, or you can shoot me a text message on my personal cell phone. That's right. Because all you guys are Sharif's friends. You guys are my friends too. So I'm gonna hook you guys up. But Sharif, is there anything that I missed that you want me to address as well? Anything?
If you want to add a little bit in about like issues with credit or like disputes.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So with disputes, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I don't care what that lady in the 1-800 number when the credit bureau says, hey, you can pay it off in half, or and we can just say paid it in full, or we can say you've made an arrangement to pay it. I don't care what they say. What you got to do is say, hey, I'm not paying nothing unless you remove this thing out of my credit report, delete it. And if they say, I'm sorry, Mr. De La Rosa, I can't do that for you. I got to talk to my supervisor. Well, go and get your supervisor then. You want my money? I'm going to go ahead and give you my money if you promise to delete this out of my credit report, because I don't want to show this on my history. This is bad on my record. I'm trying to get a clean record, trying to buy a house, trying to buy that new Maserati, whatever it is, what you want to buy, you got to get it deleted. So disputes, yes, pay it off, but make sure it's deleted, zip, and then what else in terms of disputes? Yes, but do call them. You have to call them. And if you're going through some financial hardship, at the very beginning, I didn't always work for a great company, and I always didn't know Sharif in the very beginning. But I was telling you about Michigan State. I wasn't that responsible with my finances. I was just trying to graduate. So I didn't have a lot of great debts, right? Didn't have a lot of good credit, and I had a lot of debts. So what I had to do was really, work on it and build it up. And then my student loans, I didn't have a job in the first month. I graduated right away. I had to make the decision to call the financial, the student loans folks, and then say that, hey, I'm going through some hardship, and hardship being graduate from a big university owing hundreds of $1,000s. I don't got no job yet. Can you please put it on deferment, or can you help me out with the payment arrangement? So what I'm saying, guys, just like flexing your financial muscles, you cannot just let things sit there. You got to take action. You got to take some responsibility for your finances and make those phone calls, just like with disputes, or making sure that your credit doesn't go bad. Don't let it sit. After 30 days, 30 days is when credit bureaus start sending out reports about your credit score. Not 25 days, but 30 days. So if your payment is due in 30 days, pay it in 20 days. You know what I'm saying? My dog is barking, my bad.
Thank you, AJ. So if you weren't taking notes, just to summarize a few of the key points from AJ, he talked about how through Quicken Loans, one of the best, and if you use AJ, you'll be with the best lender in the world, but they can get you approved for 500 or 80 or better. He talked about the 3 different credit bureaus, and if you have no credit, Matt said in the comment section, he said, no credit is better than bad credit. He talked about you can open up a secured card, and if you do that, whatever type of card you have, you only want to spend 30% of your limit, and you want to pay it off as soon as possible. And you also want to have activity. If you have anything that's bad on your credit report, you want to file a dispute. And that sums up the credit. Our next speaker is going to be Matt Barnett. And Matt, he's a realtor as well. He has his own podcast, and he also has his own commercial investment company. And he's got one of the greatest stories I've heard. So we'll turn it over to Matt.
Awesome. Thank you. Sri, first of all, thank you so much for having me on here. I'm honored. I'm super pumped. AJ, you killed it. Sounds like you have another realtor coming your way. Everyone else, before I go over my story, who I am and what I do and everything, I have to say that if you're even in this call right now, because I'm going to get motivational, you already have the right mindset and you're here for a reason, and it's time to take action on those things that you're trying to accomplish now. Let me, first of all, before I skip ahead, my name is Matt Barnett. I'm with Bold Realty Group out of Keller Williams, Plymouth. I'm also on Bold Construction. We also have, sorry, AJ, we have Bold Credit Repair as well. And I'm not going to skip ahead. I do a lot. Barnett Capital, but feel like I'm missing something. Anyways, so on our team, we got like 4 people on our real estate team. And, this year, we're going to do about 20 million in sales, and this will actually be our best year. COVID or not, we've been top producers in our office every month, and we have almost 300 agents out of this office. So as a team, we've been killing it. I'm pumped. AJ, I look forward to bringing you business now. Yeah, I actually learned a few things about credit just now, so I'm excited for that. So let me jump into my story, though. I know Sri said I had a pretty amazing story. I remember telling him this at one of the meetups we went to, which is how we met. And I'm going to get into the importance of networking and how we're even all right here right now. I originally was kind of, let's say 17, 18. I was in high school. I was working on cars. I went to like vocational school to work on cars and stuff. All my friends worked on cars. I was kind of following the herd. So then they were like, oh, I'm going to college for high performance and mechanics and diesel technology and stuff. And in my mind at the time, I'm like, okay, diesel techs, they make good money, whatever. I had no idea what I was doing with myself, right? I'm just kind of following the herd. And I would say I think I had 4 months left of college that I wanted to drop out. I think I would say that's when I woke up in life. I kind of figured out who I really was. And sometimes you have to go through weird things like going to college for a degree you don't want to figure out who you are. And that's completely fine. And I was working at Menards at the time. From 4 a.m. was when I started to like 3 or something stocking wood. And it was the same 8 songs that played every morning. And I had these songs memorized. I hated what I was doing. Once that like light almost clicks and I would say you wake up in life and you know that you accomplished way more than what you're capable of. I remember having my Menards vest on. I took it off, set it on the wood, walked out, never came back. Now, if you have a full-time job, do not do that. If that's your source of income, don't walk out of your job. But what I did was I immediately went to AJ. I immediately went to good old Google. I'm a college kid, haven't figured myself out, but somehow I'm like, I'm better than this. I'm Googling, I'm like thinking about all these ways to make money and stuff, and stocks came up, and stocks didn't last long. I'm not a professional stock trader or anything. I bought some shares in Kohl's, woke up the next morning, it said Kohl's lowered their guidance. I'm like, that must be good. Sure enough, it wasn't. I lost a lot of money on that. I have not traded stock since, besides oil, which DWTI and UWTI, I can't remember, but I traded oil for a little bit. It was fun, but I still didn't feel like that was for me. So I started Googling more investing stuff, and I came across what's called Forex, which is currencies. And I love trading Forex. I remember sitting in my class because I had evening classes, 3 to 6. And we had a class, and it's 2020, we have computers and stuff, and they're going over online manuals in class and stuff. I'm in the back of the class trading currencies, right? Like it was completely different. And I got really good at trading currencies to where I was paying off all my debt. I was paying off each semester. I was paying off all my books and everything. College books were like $400 or $500 a semester, which is annoying. But I was trading and making this money, and I'm covering my books and stuff. And it was kind of like a break-even thing. Wouldn't say I profit too much, but I made enough to cover those things, and it was really fun. And I got noticed by a guy, Mark, who owns MetaRupted. Shout out to him. I hope he's doing well. Haven't talked to him in a while. And hired me onto his mentorship website, and that's when it all went south. I turned into a guru, charging people $97 a month, how to trade, do all this stuff, and I quickly learned that is also not for me. Back to Google, wholesaling real estate. What is that? Sure enough, get out of college, and I get into wholesaling. I'm like, I don't have any money. I'm a broke college kid, and I'm not going to use my degree. I'm basically starting over in life. So wholesaling was that. My first year in wholesaling, I did 28 deals. My very first deal was a nightmare. Actually just had the same thing happen. My first deal, I had a hot water tank and furnace stolen. I literally just had that happen as a real estate agent, which is funny. But I've since been in real estate as an agent for 3 years now, 3.5. And it's fun. I love it. I love working with my clients and everything. And if you're in here, you Sharif and his father, obviously, they're amazing. And then I recently, I kind of go on this little trend here. And then I've been in real estate for a few years as an agent, and I absolutely love it. I plan on being an agent for a long time. But then I came across multifamily real estate. We sold off we did get residential rentals, and we sold all those off. I'm like, man, it's time for a big move. There's active and passive income. Active income as an agent, I don't get paid unless I'm working, doing these things and closing deals. That's active income. Passive income is getting paid every single month from cash flow, such as multifamily real estate. I don't have too much time, so I would love to go into it. I could talk hours about it. Yeah, Monopoly, pass, go, cash flow, just like that. Every single month you're getting paid. So I started Barnett Capital. It's a real estate investment firm. We've raised over $660,000 because that'll go towards the first deal from investors. And this is where I'm going to skip the grind mentality section of this and go straight to the importance of networking. And that's where I met Sharif. Absolutely amazing. I look forward to meeting all of you in real life at some point, but I've always said that your network equals your net worth, not literally, but the people you know is going to make things a lot easier when you're trying to raise money for multifamily. More people you talk to, even fellow realtors, if they're not an investor-friendly realtor, they will still refer you investors. Like, that's just how it works. I think networking is very, very important. And to keep it, try to connect it, I guess I could say, is why I started a podcast. So I started the Open Door Real Estate Podcast. I've only had 10 or 11 episodes so far, but we've had over $1 billion worth of guests on there that also syndicate and purchase multifamily real estate. Why did I do that? I'm putting myself in front of these people. It's kind of hard right now with COVID. I miss going to meetups and everything. But you put yourself in front of these people and they have the money. Like, I'm not worth $10 million, but I'm underwriting $10 million deals. But I know a guy that owns $500 million worth of real estate that will gladly sign on that deal, obviously for a portion of the deal. But I've built that relationship. He just spent an hour with me on a podcast. He's educating myself as he's educating my viewers, and I'm still providing value to all those people at the same time. So it's literally a never ending circle. I actually really like that Monopoly thing. I've never even thought about that. You're pass and go. And as you're doing that, Next time you come back around with Go, you're coming back with more connections, a bigger network, you get paid, and it keeps going. But I do believe, I know I'm going over a little bit. Oh, not yet. I believe in providing endless value. I don't think it has to be right this second. It can be 8 months from now, a year from now. Keep those connections. And even if you have to provide free value to those you're surrounded with, it'll all come back to you at some point and be completely worth it. And I'm just going to touch on the grind mentality real quick, since I'm getting all motivational. It's not necessarily a grind mentality. You're all here. You have the mentality. You care about something. You're passionate about something. You just have to figure out what and give it your all. It's not necessarily mentality. It's not like, oh, I'm hustling, whatever you want to call it. You need to figure out what your why in life is. I can't tell you what it is. No one else in here can tell you what it is. You have to figure that out. And if you want to know how tough it is, I've been in a hot tub drunk at 2 a.m. crying, trying to figure out my why before. Don't tell anyone else I told you that. But it's only you can figure out your why. And once you do, I can tell you when I found my why, college, when I woke up. That's when you wake up and like figure out your why. Thank you, Sharif. I'm not going to go over my time. I hope I motivated you guys. AJ and everyone else providing excellent content. I motivated you. Now go take action on it.
Thank you, Matt. I couldn't tell the story any better. And everybody, remember how Matt said, network is your net worth. So everybody remember Matt, and whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when you're ready to go get a multifamily, when you want to get an investment, when you want to put some houses or some hotels on your property, Matt is the guy that you need to see. You can also listen to his podcast, and we'll send out an email with all that information after. So our next speaker is Josh Laurent. And Josh, many of you, probably most of you have seen him or heard him. If you've been driving anywhere around Canton or Belleville, you've heard him in his car as well. So he's going to talk about how he got his car so young. He's going to talk about the daily applications of credit and about being an entrepreneur. So we'll give it to Josh.